Hey everybody, welcome into Folklore and Flourish. You're here with Jane and Mark today over at Blue Box 29. Today is May 13th. We're in the month of creation and fertility. So we're in week 2, the fertile earth, and today is all about the herbs. So we're looking at green medicine, plants, healing, memory. So that's something that's interesting is that medicinal properties within plants also connecting and healing us to more than just this body, this
Right.
life. And that's intentional, right? So there's this fear with, let's just say, like fear with drugs, well warranted. I mean, you see the effects of like fentanyl, one of the
Mhm.
largest growing ones. You see spice in like
Yeah.
prisons and stuff. But
People overdosing every day.
oftentimes, because of that, any sort of thing that takes away your power, your control, makes people panic. So
Right.
stories like today are really important to identify the difference between medicinal, like plants that are used for medicinal reasons, not being pumped with other chemicals, right? We'll see it
That's the biggest
today
part.
with the ritualistic part of it as well.
Yeah.
So we get to see the difference I really like between medicine that the
Mhm.
earth is giving us, right? We've heard that a million times that whatever you believe in, whether it's the earth, whether it's God, whether it's science, it gave us everything we need, coincidentally.
Right.
Everything we need is produced on this planet. So we're looking at that today. And I just really liked that it went beyond the theme of just green medicine to the lesson of plants healing memory.
Mm.
Okay, 'cause it's a lot more than just, and we think of memory too as completely mental. And I've talked to you about this before with some personal stuff and how I've argued with you that the skin, the body never forgets. The body holds more memory than we care to talk about, right?
Right, yeah.
I mean, we really talk about like PTSD,
Mhm.
right? So the stuff that goes through the mind with memory and how that shifts it. But now we're moving into the body. So we need to think about that before we hear the stories today, that memory isn't all in your mind.
Yeah.
Sometimes the memory that's coming out is your body's. And people might see this and you might think, okay, well, if I'm remembering something, it's still in my mind.
Mm.
No, I'm talking about those times where your body feels something and acknowledges something that we don't know what it is, but the body does. The body remembers even if we don't want to. And that's what I've
Like, you
shared
can
that
get
with
a
you
twinge or
before.
the hair on your the back of your neck stands up,
hmm
all those. That's probably
Well, it's
kinda what
kind
you're
of the
talking about.
lasting trauma that a lot of people, and I specifically talked to you about this with like something I went through.
Mhm.
Like the body does remember. So you can go through all of this healing, all of this practice, and it still remembers it
Yeah.
because everything in this life and everything in every life we've experienced before, it leaves signs on our souls. We're
Yeah,
going to
for
see
sure.
that a little bit
And it
today.
and it brings it in, and, like, with the work that I do now with Dolores Cannon's work, she proved that, like, birthmarks, for
hmm
instance, were memories from past lives.
And that's been a long, like, feeling people have had, right? Just that
Mhm.
fun little thing. But now we're showing it
Yeah.
that there's a reason that we just thought or knew that they meant something,
Right.
right?
No, and it's totally standing for that and showing, like, this is why the birthmark is right where it's at, because it was extremely significant in your past life, whether that was how you moved on to the next one or what it was. But there's a lot of things that memory can bring, and then with these plants and these medicines and showing us those memories and being able to heal those memories from the past, whether it's this lifetime or another one, is a big part of it.
So what you just said right there too, it's not just about healing physically.
Mm.
Sometimes now we go back to we're healing mentally. We're healing spiritually, emotionally, psychologically in ways that we didn't even think needed addressing,
Yeah,
let alone
exactly.
needed healing.
That they say that a lot about these, like, so, like, with the ayahuasca vine, it's known and said that one session with that plant medicine in the right set and setting could be like 10 years worth of therapy, like, sitting there. How does
And
that
is
make you feel? How
this
does that make you feel? Because you are going straight to the root of what is the issue. You are the best person that knows. Now, maybe consciously you've suppressed it so you don't know. But with that, with the medicines, they're teachers. They're there to help us. And it truly is a medicine because it's gonna show you, "Hey, this is what it is."
And it's clearly a teacher. And just to clarify, um, you are friends or you are connected to a shaman down in Las Vegas.
Correct, yes.
So, and if you just want to give a little bit of information on that, because it is useful to know, oh, wow, we're not just sitting here and I'm hear the story, so I know everything it is. No, you've actually spoken with a shaman who
Right.
practices this.
And he goes down to Peru and is actually going next month again, and he brings people with him so they can see what it's like to be in the
So,
jungles of
can you
Peru.
share the tribe in case
Yeah,
people want
it's
to look for it?
if you wanna look, it's based out of Las Vegas. They're 963 Tribe. You can find them on Facebook. I'm not sure if they have a Gmail, but just look up 963 Tribe in Las Vegas. Amazing people. Najib is the guy we're talking about.
The
He
shaman.
facilitates it, and he's an amazing human. Just like as soon as I met him, like, I felt like straight equal, and it was in a way that I haven't felt with somebody else in a long time, especially a man, because it's either like you're either looking at another as a man, you're either looking at a dude, like, you're sizing up him,
Mm.
like, nothing to worry about, nothing to worry about, and you could be an issue, you're just, whatever, and then when I got around him, it was none of that. It was just like, "Hey." Like, we could just talk and he just gives you that sense of ease. So it's really cool, but look him up if you guys are near or far. It's just another option. Good conversationalist, if you have questions to be able to answer
Yeah,
with.
I've told you. I mean, I've met Najib once, twice, maybe, or it was
Mhm.
the same weekend. I can't really remember. Might have just been the one.
Well,
Um,
within the same weekend, we were at a
okay,
couple different
yeah.
events.
So it was definitely he's an he's a personality I'd like to meet again. I told you that from the beginning.
Right.
It was an aura, it was an energy I just hadn't experienced before. I liked it. It was interesting. It was very
It's
different
different.
than what I anticipated the color to project as. I was very I guess I'm intrigued because I can see the shaman aspect of him. I told you there were certain things that you could meet this man anywhere and you would know that he's in touch with some sort of spirituality.
Yeah.
He is doing something to help others in that
Mhm.
aspect simply by the way he holds his body language,
Right.
how he watches you when you're speaking, because he's not like sizing up necessarily.
Mhm.
He's like
Like, getting into your soul
digesting
and, yeah,
your everything.
understanding.
And I felt I think it was one of the times I've been the most introverted when
Yeah.
I've discussed with someone. Because like you said, I guess my perspective is different. I felt like he would understand me better than I wanted him to
Mm.
if I spoke. So I did sit there and I'm sizing him up as someone that's very in his masculine, yes, but very because of his shaman and spirituality, I could feel that feminine intuition. And
Mhm.
I was like, I don't want to talk because I feel like he might know me better than I might want someone to know me first meeting. Now, it wasn't because I was intimidated or felt like he would judge me.
Right.
It was because this is just someone that I wanted to get to know a little bit
Mhm.
because I feel like I'm going to value the knowledge I can get from him. So he's just someone that made me want to listen more than I spoke.
Right. Now,
Mhm.
him and his sister, both amazing people. Like, I've talked to
Did
their
we meet
parents.
his
I'm trying to remember if you
I
did
don't
or
think
I
so.
I
I
and
think you
if
would have
you did,
mentioned
it
it.
would have been in passing. It would have been really quick because she probably would have been busy. Yeah, like, I remember thinking their parents, like, just saying, "Man, you raised a couple of great humans for sure,"
Mhm.
because they both are great people, so.
And I just like it because he's down in Vegas, right? But he's someone that's taking the trip to the heart of that culture, to the
Yeah, of
heart of that
where it is.
vine,
Yep.
where it's in tune with the earth. Like, this isn't just, I'm going to do this because it's fun. I'm
Mhm.
going to do this because it's interesting.
It's
He's,
definitely not something you do for fun,
yeah,
for
no,
sure. That's
he
not a for
is
fun thing ever.
doing it. I'm emphasizing that because that's the kind of shaman you would want. Anyone that's helping you with spirituality, right?
Yeah,
Going above and beyond, like how you and I are looking at different classes, different regions where the QHHT just a little bit tweaked different,
yeah.
right? Who can we look at? Different perspectives of who clients to get. as
Mhm.
well, because that's a big thing. But it's interesting how drastic it is when you're dealing with something like the green medicine.
Mm.
We don't have to worry about that with
Mhm.
the hypnosis.
Right.
He's someone that does have to worry about that, but he likes it, and that's why he's inviting people to go down. So I just wanted to emphasize that
Right. Yeah.
and it's important to not just listen to people and say, "Oh, take my word for it." Take their actions for it.
No, right, and the
Take
thing
other
about them
people's
too
words.
is, like, just to like I thought it was really neat is they actually partnered with UMC down out of Las Vegas. So I don't know what came of that yet or if the study is even done, but I know they partnered together last year moving into this year or most of last year moving into this year. I don't know all of what everything about it, but that's super interesting and super cool that you have a major hospital in the city hooking up with some people that are doing this vine medicine, you know? I can't wait to see what they say.
And something that I'm excited for too, because obviously you've contacted him, met with him, and, just learn more about that. But that you're getting super interested in the Chinese medicinal things
Mm,
because, wow, wow. Like
yeah,
the fact that we in Western civilization, and I'm not just talking about China, okay? Eastern civilization.
right.
I mean, things they've been using ancient times that Western medicine is just barely even addressing. Oh, well, it
Yeah.
doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything.
Well, you
Been
know what's
around for a
funny? When
long
I was a
time.
kid, I was like that. Man, they had me good. Like seriously, the program got me. Like everything did. Dare got me. All this stuff because it was like I remember like reading and or hearing about Eastern medicine and just thinking how much of a joke it was and how could this little thing work for. I'm like, wow, what a fool I was. I was so silly,
We really are a
to just
civil
discount
But
everything.
that's because we really are a civilization that if we don't understand it, we don't know it, you have to fear it. It was
Yeah.
like that movie we watched
Yeah.
yesterday.
Oh my god,
That
such a great
Swapped
movie.
cartoon, oh my gosh, it was
If you guys
amazing.
haven't
Michael B.
seen
Jordan in
Swapped,
it.
watch it,
He
but be ready
voices
to cry
something,
because
so
I was definitely lip quivering a few times. I was like,
no, I was crying. I was crying at several points, but that's exactly it.
but it was meant to, and it was like happy tears. It wasn't
Mhm.
like some of it was like it was sad, but at
It
the
was
same time, it
almost
was like,
like tears of being seen because it's so funny how cartoons, something that it's not even in the realm of something that's happening in today's world, right?
right,
But it allowed you to be seen because it's also so relatable.
yeah,
Because this whole fear what you don't know, fear anyone that's different.
oh,
They don't look like you better not be talking to them or trusting them. And it's like, that's exactly the problem, is because when you assume you can only trust this group of people, they're probably the people that are going to take advantage.
yeah,
I mean, that's how it goes. But with these 4 stories, we're not just looking at the ayahuasca, which we are going to look at the Peruvian,
yeah,
story of it, obviously, but we're going to also look at Celtic, Chinese, and Greek. Okay, and I did that in reverse order. So when you listen to them, it's actually going to be the Greek story first. And so we're going to look at those. But rather than thinking about like what needs healing, we're actually focusing on the green medicine and we're looking at what wants to heal me. So there are so many signs. We talk about signs all the time. You see little subtle things that start popping up. And then all of a sudden you go, wow, I didn't even know I needed that. I'm still in there. I'm still fine. But I didn't even know I needed that. Or I didn't
hmm
even recognize that this was in pain. So we're going to take some time to notice what is wanting to heal me. What is around me that is recognizing my energy and is doing whatever it can. And yeah, it sounds silly. This inanimate object is doing whatever it can. But
no, it's real life,
even if you just set up cameras in your plant room, plants aren't inanimate by any means, but
real
you
life,
will start recognizing, especially if you sleep next to some, that sometimes certain plants will start turning towards the person or the living entity in the room. Some people have noticed that certain things will start turning and then it's something like, oh, protection, right? So they start paying attention to that stuff. There's a burglary in their block that week, right? There are signs that plants will
mm
give. Like they can feel something's coming,
mm.
whether it's an external or internal. So whether it's a plant or like inanimate, I'm talking about how we often leave things in places and never notice them. But then all of a sudden they pop up at the time that we need them
Uh,
before we know we need them, right? Whether it's a book, whether it's a phone call, right? That person that we need, that thought, that feeling, whatever it is, we're going to think about what wants to heal me today. Okay. So it could be a plant, it could be an animal, it could be an inanimate object, it could be another person. But we're going to pay attention to that. And I think we really want to focus because there's so many different things. But I really want to emphasize that these are things that want to heal us, not change us, not
right.
fix us, not adapt us. These are things that want to heal us.
Well, actually, if you look at it, and I've seen quite a few studies on it, and what they were finding is if you look outside and you see dandelions, everybody has dandelions, right? But if you look at dandelions from the tip of the flower to the root, that plant is medicinal. It's
Every
not the
aspect
best
of it.
tasting, but every little thing on that
Do
flower
not eat
is good for
every
you.
part of it.
No, you
Gotta
gotta
actually
do
look how to do
things.
the
Yes,
stuff to
it's
it.
not just you don't go out there
But
plus
yeah,
and the
so you
milk
wash them.
inside of it, and but yeah, no, they are a medicinal thing. You can use them for good. So, what I've heard is if you look in your environment and then all of a sudden you start noticing like a certain type of flower that's growing, go take a picture of it and find out what that flower is, and then possibly find out if it has any medicinal uses and then what those uses are for and then maybe do a little check in with yourself because that possibly could be something that your body needs. And what happens is because we're energetic, we're throwing that out there that our body needs this. So then all of a sudden those plants start growing next to us.
Well, and we're all connected.
Yes,
We're
a
all
1 million
connected.
percent
So sometimes, and I'm saying this because you and I have gone through some stuff where everything is a sign, but not every sign
is a sign for
requires an
you or
action.
whatever. Yeah.
Right. And not every sign even requires whatever it may be. But
Hmm.
everything, it is all happening. It's all connected. That plant may not be necessarily saying, hey, heal this.
Yeah.
That plant could be drawing in a specific animal, though.
Yeah.
And that animal represents something,
Hmm.
right? So
True,
we
true, true.
know that everything has meaning,
Hmm.
right? And some of us may go, okay, yeah, this blanket has meaning. Yeah, warmth. Its purpose is its meaning, sometimes.
Right.
So you really, I mean, you can argue anything. A
Yeah.
paper clip, a piece of trash. Like I could argue anything
Yeah,
has its
for because if it just at the right moment, at the right time, it could and or is going to mean something to someone for some reason. That's why it's there.
point blank, right? When we're holding our phones above our faces and it hits us,
Yeah.
we know right away it's probably time to put my phone away. All right, got it.
Yeah.
Right? I get the sign, like finding, okay, that's what it is, except I truly think that there is something else going good because I've sent it 100 times.
Yeah.
About time. But I
About
think
time.
it's
About
also
time.
like, I think it's a joking thing, but I genuinely believe that the earth wants us to survive.
Yeah.
It wants us to live in harmony because the alternative is that itself is being attacked.
Right. Yeah. And the earth is a breathing, living thing. Like, truly, if you look at how much life is on the earth and how connected it is with like just the plants themselves, like truly on the earth, and you can't see it, but I know I've watched quite a few documentaries on it with like fungi, not the ones that grow up and you see mushrooms, but fungi within the dirt connects every single
Mhm.
plant across the land. So if there's land and any which way, they're all connected, every single plant. And when I saw that, I was blown away because plants talk to each other. A lot of them will send water when one needs water. If there's fires, like they've shown all these things that what plants do. And I was so naive when I was younger that I thought, I could just go kick a plant and rip it and it just who cares though? It doesn't feel it, but it does. Just so like now, like you vegans, plants are alive, they feel things. I'm kidding. But they do. They really do. And it's beautiful. Especially when they make the music boxes. Have you seen those where they
Mhm.
clip it on the plants and they're all singing? Those are
Yeah.
really neat.
I like those. And speaking of plants today, we're actually going to smell or taste an herb today.
Mm,
And we're going to just really focus on the flavor, the scent, the presence. Okay. So we're going to notice its presence fully.
Yeah, you got
Um,
the little herb garden that you got in the
yeah,
windowsill, so
and
that'd be really
some
cool.
some herbs are, I mean, they're potent. You can
Mhm.
smell it right away what it is. Others you gotta kind of activate. For example, dill is one of my favorite herbs. I
Yeah,
mean,
you do love some dill.
I I do. I think it's I mean, I love the smell of it. I like the taste of it. What is hilarious because I don't like pickles. I don't like I like pickle juice. I'll buy a jar of pickles just to drink the pickle juice and give you
But
all the
I eat all the
pickles.
pickles, so it's a bonus.
Yeah, uh, you're still in it too. That, and then one that I like that kind of requires a little bit of activation rubbing in your hand is I actually really like rosemary.
Mm,
I've noticed that I never knew that when you have it fresh, you need to kind of rub it, kind of get it going, and then put it in your dish to
I
have it
didn't know that.
really come out. I
Mm,
didn't know. I tried it the other day with the elk steak that I made. So that was really good. I
yeah.
made it the same way as the other time where it was like fine. I just activated the rosemary this time.
Wow,
That's literally, I mean, I'm sure I gave a little bit extra butter, garlic. This was also fresh rosemary, activated though.
that's cool.
Before I just put pieces and was like, whatever.
Yeah.
But when I activated it, it was like an entirely different kind of aroma,
Wow.
flavor, but
And then that's it that just makes me think you should activate everything that we're using, like, whether you're activating the smell, the taste, or
right.
with energy, like, that's
Well,
a
it
big
kinda
thing
goes to
with it.
show you people. Some people, it doesn't take much to recognize them, right? To
Yeah,
see their personality, for them to be acknowledged. Other people, it takes a little bit of activation, and I don't mean that we're walking up forcing people, but you warm people up a little bit, like how I told you, sometimes when I notice someone puts themselves out there,
yeah,
and it's something that I personally think needs to be acknowledged, I'll acknowledge it, even if I have to go back to do it. Because some people simply will give a little bit of a test,
right.
and if it's whatever, there's so many different things. That's it.
Mm,
They've gained their perception of the group, whatever. It only takes one person going, I see you, right?
right.
Rosemary, you activated a little bit, and then all of a sudden it goes from something that's fine to great.
Yeah,
Because it was always great.
yeah.
I just didn't acknowledge
You
how to
just
get it
didn't
to
turn that
showcase.
frequency of the
Mhm.
deliciousness on.
And some people work in that silent way. Other people's work in a bold way. Some versions we like, some we don't. I like the pickle juice, right? You like the pickle.
Mm,
That's just like it's like one person having two sides to them, right? That doesn't mean that that's not what it is. That jar of pickles is that jar of pickles. But I like this part of that person. You like this part of that person. But they're both necessary to
yeah,
get that. So we're going to look at that today, whether it's something that's easy for you to acknowledge, because it might. You might go in your day and go, wow, I've never noticed that smell before, and then realize, like lavender. Wow, I didn't notice we had lavender out here. Cool, that's cool.
maybe
You know what
it's
I've been noticing is that I've been really, really looking for more sleep. I've been trying to get more sleep. And now my senses are acknowledging something that
is known,
does help get me more sleep. So it's
right?
could be that versus I might trip and fall and hit something and then notice it because the earth said, wow, this
Hey,
person's
wake up.
not getting it.
Wake up.
Yeah.
I need to tell you something,
But
and it's not about your car insurance.
but when we do talk about green medicine, it's important to find people that understand it, but not only understand it and are interested and knowledgeable, but that care
Yeah.
about you as an individual, you as someone that's going on a journey, you as a tiny little thing connected to a big thing.
One of my most favorite things that Najib says is heal yourself, heal the world. And I didn't understand that for a long time. And whether you do or don't, but I have my thought process behind that. But I don't want to give you my answer because I want you to get your own answer for that. Because it does mean something to me, but it might not mean the same thing to you. But truly, if you think about it exactly with what you're saying, if you heal yourself, you will heal the world in turn by doing that.
Mm,
And that's the interpretation that I have of it. I'll share with you later if I
right.
haven't already, but
But before we let you guys go listen to these four stories, you're going to think about what wants to heal me like
Mhm.
we've been preaching, right? And that's because obviously we're looking at stuff. I told you the other day all these things that I guess it's just we'll never know, right? And then randomly, I get this thing that pops up,
Mm.
and I'm like, "That's interesting." I immediately called him, right? My practitioner, because, he's the same.
Yeah.
Go with your gut. We'll sit here and talk about it. We'll figure it out. Go with your
Yeah.
gut, because he's looking it up too. And so it's just the world wants us to be happy and in balance. All of us. Even that neighbor that we don't like or that person that we think is a terrible human being, the world wants all of us to be happy and to
Yeah,
prosper
because
and to grow.
imagine if that person isn't acting the way that upsets you and they're acting in the best possible way,
Mhm.
because you're imagining that that's what they're gonna do now. They're just gonna make this switch. Man, imagine how happy you're gonna be because you're never even gonna think about them anymore.
That's the thing too. And so we're going to leave today with thinking that, well, we're going to leave today hopefully acknowledging and receiving healing as an ongoing process,
Yeah.
not as an immediate outcome or I've been doing so great, so great, so great. And then someone irritated me and I lost it. And now I'm just back to the old me. No, you're not.
No, not by a
You're
long shot.
not.
Because and I can speak for that because I will find that I have to have self-talks sometimes hourly with my place that I'm at right now for work. It's a challenge to keep myself from reacting to things that I don't want to. So it's not we're not sitting here saying that, "Oh, do this," because we're saying, like, we're doing the same thing that you guys are. So if you have questions about it, what maybe we do for it, feel free to reach out and
Yeah.
we can chit chat.
I have no problem sharing some of my stuff. Definitely. I mean, guys, like some of the stuff happening nationwide, like you wouldn't believe how much like it's actually personal, like
Yeah,
to everybody. But I mean,
right.
our involvement and stuff in these institutions we're struggling with. It's not like we're just sitting on the outside frustrated. We're trying to help,
Mhm.
right? And I'm on the outside of mine, but I had to be because when got pushed out.
Right.
But now get people rallying together. And man, it's just important that we understand that it is an ongoing process and that we can't save everyone and not everyone can
Not
save
everyone
us.
is here for being safe
Right.
though
But
either.
what I meant by that is you may be able to help me, but you may be like someone's last choice, this person's last choice to come help them, right?
Yeah,
That doesn't mean we force it either.
right.
And sometimes, unfortunately, it's
Well,
people
no,
we
and that's the
didn't
thing.
want to help that require our help.
Right. I've already thought about that, and it's funny because I've already had somebody say, "Well, I don't think I would let you do that." Cool. That's cool. That then it doesn't align with you. Like, and it doesn't even bother me.
Some people don't want to be healed. Some people want to be healed. Some people want to manipulate someone else because if I can ruin a healer, that's great. But
Mm,
something my dad always said, because he learned it from, I think, a rabbi. I don't know if it's the same rabbi that still works out at the prison, but just that the greatest thing we can do is help someone heal, help someone find the light. That does not mean you have to believe the same God I believe in.
no, no, for
That
sure.
means if I can pull you to just see the light, to see
Yeah,
the positive, to see life, that is the greatest revenge we can give to anything negative.
yeah.
To those people that hate us, that we hate, whatever it may be, the best thing we can do is love each other and help people
Mhm.
find the light.
Yep.
And if you can help someone find the light, then be the light.
Yeah.
I
No, for
followed
sure.
people while I've been in the dark
Yep.
that have never known that I was struggling. Maybe they did know and they just continued pushing forward because they knew I was clinging on to their light. And then I've been the light for other people who have felt the same. And so we're going to just walk away remembering that we got to receive healing as it comes and think about what does want to heal us. With that, though, our dogs are telling us it's time.
Yeah, they are just moving. I'm sure you've seen it with the cameras moving around. So
Yes, but tomorrow we get to the nest of the fertile earth. So it's going to be exciting. All of them are just super. I don't know. I just like them. I love this kind of stuff because the month like we're having, it is a light month. It's come find the light, come embrace it. But also recognize that the light's been trying to find you too.
Right.
That was probably one of the most beautiful things my mom's ever told me, and I'm pretty sure she said that to me when I was young, was that, sometimes that light, that happiness is trying to find you, and you're not letting it in,
Yeah,
and
for
it's
sure.
loving you. It's just
It's
waiting.
there. It's just waiting for you to be like,
Mhm.
okay, and accept it because nothing's going to come to you unless you allow it.
And
That's a million
so
percent.
and we're always here too.
Hmm.
We're not experts by any means,
No,
but
for sure. But
none of us are. We're all just trying to help.
we're just people that like to help people. So
Yeah. But with that, we will see you guys tomorrow.
see you guys. Love you.
Before we begin, I want to take a moment to honor the cultures behind the stories we are about to explore. The tales shared here come from many peoples, lands, and traditions. I do not change these stories to fit modern expectations or to align with today's social standards. Instead, I present them as they were told, sometimes beautiful, sometimes harsh, sometimes challenging. We are not here to judge the past, but to understand it, to listen, to learn, and to honor the ancestors who carried these stories forward. We also share stories from various religious traditions. These are presented in their historical and spiritual context, with respect for their beliefs that they represent. Every culture deserves respect, context, and acknowledgement, and this space is dedicated to doing exactly that. Story 1. Hygieia, the keeper of healing and the memory of balance. In the ancient world where illness and health were not seen as separate accidents, but as states shaped by balance and imbalance, there existed a quiet yet enduring presence who governed the restoration of harmony within the body and the world. This was Hygieia, daughter of Asclepius, the great healer, yet her role was not to cure through intervention alone, but to preserve through understanding. While others sought to treat sickness after it appeared, Hygieia stood at the threshold before it took hold, embodying the principle that health is not something regained, but something maintained. She was not associated with dramatic acts of healing, nor with sudden transformation, but with the steady, ongoing care that prevents disorder from arising. In this way, she represented a form of knowledge that was quieter, yet deeper, one that recognized that life thrives not through reaction alone, but through awareness and alignment. Hygieia was often depicted with a serpent, a creature long associated with renewal, transformation, and the cyclical nature of life. The serpent, shedding its skin, became a symbol of the body's ability to renew itself, to restore balance when it is given the proper conditions. She would hold a bowl from which the serpent drank, a simple image that carried profound meaning. The bowl represented nourishment, the act of giving the body what it needs to remain in harmony, while the serpent represented the life force that responds to that care. Together, they revealed that healing is not imposed from the outside, but arises from within when balance is supported. The people came to understand that the body is not a passive vessel, but an active participant in its own well-being, capable of maintaining itself when given the proper environment. Hygieia's presence was felt in daily practices, in cleanliness, in diet, in the rhythms that supported life rather than disrupted it. She did not stand apart from life, but within it, guiding the choices that shape health over time. Her influences extended beyond the body into the natural world, where plants and herbs were recognized not only for their physical properties, but for their role within a larger system of balance. The earth itself was seen as holding memory, a knowledge of how to sustain life, expressed through the growth of plants that could nourish, restore, and protect. Hygieia's wisdom aligned with this understanding, for she did not treat the body as separate from its environment, but as a part of it. The herbs that grew from the soil carried within them the capacity to support balance, not through force, but through alignment with the body's own processes. The people who followed her principles learned to observe, to understand the rhythms of the season, the needs of the body, and the ways in which imbalance could arise. They came to see that health is not a fixed state, but a dynamic one, requiring continual attention, a relationship rather than a condition. Unlike those who sought to conquer illness, Hygieia did not engage in struggle, for her domain was not conflict but harmony. She taught that the most powerful form of healing is prevention, that by living in accordance with natural rhythms, by maintaining balance within the body and the environment, one could reduce the need for intervention. This was not an easy path, for it required awareness, discipline, and the willingness to listen to the body before it demanded attention through discomfort. Yet within this approach lay a deeper form of empowerment, where health was not dependent on external forces alone, but could be cultivated through daily practice. Hygieia became a symbol of this ongoing care, a reminder that what is maintained does not need to be restored, that balance, once established, can be preserved through attention and respect. As time moved forward and the understanding of healing evolved, Hygieia remained as a quiet foundation beneath it all. Her presence carried in the practices to sustain life rather than merely respond to its disruption. She stood not as a figure of dramatic change, but as a steady influence, guiding the unseen processes that keep life in motion. In every act of care, in every choice that supports balance, in every moment where the body is given what it needs to remain in harmony, there remains the presence of Hygieia. She is not distant nor removed from the everyday, but present within it, within the habits that shape well-being, within the awareness that allows life to thrive. Thus, she stands as a keeper of healing not through reaction, but through remembrance, the one who holds the knowledge that the body, like the earth, carries within it the capacity to restore itself when it is supported, when it is respected, and when it is allowed to remain in balance. Story 2, Shennong, the taster of herbs and the memory of the earth. In the ancient age when the people lived close to the land yet did not fully understand its gifts, when hunger and illness moved among them without clear remedy, there arose a figure who would walk between the known and the unknown, between what nourishes and what harms. This was Shennong, the divine farmer, who came not only to teach the planting of seeds and the tending of crops, but to uncover the hidden knowledge carried within the plants themselves. The earth was abundant, yet its abundance was veiled, for not all that grew could be trusted, and the difference between healing and harm was not easily seen. Shennong did not turn away from this uncertainty, but stepped into it, taking upon himself the task of tasting the plants of the world, learning their nature through direct encounter. Day after day he moved through fields and forests, gathering leaves, roots, and stems, placing them upon his tongue, allowing their essence to reveal itself within his body. It is said that Shennong possessed a transparent body, through which the effects of each plant could be seen as it traveled within him, revealing its nature not through words, but through transformation. Some herbs brought warmth, spreading through his limbs with a steady and strengthening force. Others cooled the body, easing what was inflamed or disturbed. Some nourished, restoring balance and vitality, while others carried poison, disrupting the body's harmony, causing pain or weakness. Shennong did not retreat from these effects, even when they brought him suffering, for he understood that to know the earth fully, one must encounter both its gifts and its dangers. It is said that he tasted hundreds of herbs in a single day, enduring the effects of each, learning through experience what could sustain life and what could threaten it. In this way, the knowledge of the plant was not gathered through observation alone, but through sacrifice, through the willingness to bear the consequence of that knowledge within his own body. Through his efforts, the hidden language of the plants began to take form. Patterns emerged where there had once been only uncertainty. People learned which herbs they could use to heal, which could restore balance when illness arose, and which must be avoided. This knowledge was not separate from the land, but deeply connected to it, for the properties of the plants were understood as expressions of the earth itself, shaped by the same forces that governed the body. Shennong taught that the body and the land are not distinct, but reflections of one another, that what grows from the soil carries within it the potential to influence the body's own balance. In this understanding, healing was not an act of opposition, but one of alignment, where the qualities of the plants were used to restore what had been disturbed. The people came to see that the earth holds memory, that within each plant lies a history of interaction within the elements, a knowledge that can be drawn upon when needed. Yet the path Shennong walked was not without its costs, for the act of tasting the plants brought him into direct contact with their most potent forms. It is said that in time he encountered a plant whose poison could not be overcome. Even so, his work did not end with his life, for the knowledge he gathered remained, carried forward through generations, preserved in the teachings that followed. The people honored him not only for what he discovered, but for the way in which he discovered it, through direct relationship with the earth, through the willingness to engage with its full nature. His story became a reminder that knowledge is not gained without effort, that understanding the world requires participation, and that what heals is not separate from what can harm. but exists within the same continuum. As the seasons continued and the cycles of planting and harvest unfolded, Shennong remained present in the practices to sustain life, in the tending of crops, in the preparation of herbs, in the quiet recognition that the earth offers what is needed when it is understood. His presence is carried in the knowledge that healing is not distant, but grows from the ground beneath one's feet, that the plants themselves hold the memory of balance, waiting to be recognized. Thus, Shennong stands as the one who revealed the hidden nature of the earth's gifts, the taster of herbs who transformed uncertainty into understanding, and whose enduring legacy reminds that the path of healing lies in the relationship between body and land, where what is taken is known and what is known is respected. Story 3, Brigid, the keeper of the green flame in the healing waters. In the mist-laden land where green stretches in endless folds across the hills and valleys, where springs rise from the earth as if the land itself were breathing, there is known a presence who does not command from afar, but lives within the quiet works of life. This is Brigid, keeper of the green flame, guardian of healing, poetry, and craft, whose presence moves through the land like a current, unseen yet deeply felt. She is not bound to a single form, for she exists in the fire that warms, in the water that restores, and in the plants that grow from the soil. Her being woven into the very fabric of the living world. In the earliest times, when the people sought to understand how life could be sustained through both body and spirit, Brigid emerged as a guide, not through force, but through continuity, through the steady presence that nurtures and renews. Brigid's flame was not the consuming fire of destruction, but of a sustaining one, fire that remained constant, tended by those who understood its significance. It is said that her sacred flame burned in Kildare, kept alive by priestesses who ensured that it never went out, for it represented the life force itself, the spark that must be maintained for growth to continue. This flame was mirrored in the body, in the warmth that sustains life, in the energy that allows healing to occur. Yet her presence was not only in fire, but in water as well, in the sacred wells that dotted the land, places where people came seeking restoration. These wells were not seen as ordinary sources of water, but as points where the boundary between the physical and the spiritual grew thin, where the acts of drinking or washing could bring not only physical relief, but a deeper sense of renewal. Offerings were left at these sites, small tokens placed in gratitude, not as payment, but as acknowledgement of the connection between human life and the forces that sustain it. The plants that grew in the fields and along the edges of these waters were also part of Brigid's domain, for she was known as a healer who worked through the natural world. The herbs were not seen as mere substances, but as carriers of knowledge, each holding within it the specific quality that could be called upon when needed. Brigid's wisdom was in understanding these qualities and recognizing how they could be used to restore balance when it was lost. The people learned to observe the land, to notice which plants grew in which places, to understand how they responded to the seasons, and how their properties could be aligned with the needs of the body. Healing in this sense was not separate from the land, but a continuation of its processes, a reflection of the same balance that allows the earth to sustain life. Brigid stood within this relationship, not as one who imposed healing, but as one who revealed it, guiding the people to recognize what was already present. Her presence also extended into the act of creation itself, for she was associated with poetry and craft, with the shaping of words and objects, with the transformation of raw material into something meaningful. This aspect of her being reflected a deeper truth, that healing is not only the restoration of the body, but the renewal of the spirit, the ability to create, to express, to bring forth what lies within. The green flame she carried was not only one of physical life, but of inspiration, of the energy that moves through all forms of creation. In this way, Brigid's influence was not limited to a single domain, but flowed through all aspects of life, connecting the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual into a unified whole. As the cycles of the seasons continued, Brigid remained as a constant presence within them, her influence carried in the first stirrings of spring, in the return of growth after the stillness of winter. The people honored her not through grand displays, but through the tending of her flame, through the care of the wells, through the respectful use of the plants she guided them to understand. She became a symbol of continuity, of the ongoing relationship between human life and the natural world, where healing is not a single act, but a process that unfolds over time. In every fire that warms without consuming, in every well that offers renewal, and in every plant that carries the memory of the earth, there remains the presence of Brigid, the keeper of the green flame, whose enduring influence reminds that life is sustained not through force, but through balance, through care, through the forces that move beneath the surface of all things. Story 4, the ayahuasca vine, the spirit that remembers and reveals. Deep within the vast and breathing body of the Amazon rainforest, where the air is thick with life and every layer of the world hums with unseen movement, there grows a vine that is not understood as a plant alone, but as a teacher, a keeper of memory, and a guide into the hidden layers of existence. This is ayahuasca, often called the vine of the soul or the vine of the dead, a presence that carries within it the knowledge far older than human language. It does not reveal itself to those who approach without intention, nor does it offer its gifts without preparation, for what it holds is not simple healing, but a confrontation with truth, with memory, with the deeper currents that shape life beneath the surface. People who have lived in relationship with this vine for generations do not treat it as an object to be used, but as a spirit to be respected, approached with humility and engaged with care. The vine itself grows entwined among the trees, climbing upward through the dense forest, its form unassuming to those who do not know its nature. Yet within it lies a power that is not visible, a capacity to open what is closed, to reveal what is hidden, to bring forth what has been buried within the body and the mind. The preparation of ayahuasca is not a simple act, but a ritual in itself, where the vine is combined with other plants, each one contributing to its own quality, its own role in the unfolding of the experience. The process requires knowledge, patience, and precision, for what is being created is not merely a drink, but a bridge, a means of crossing into a space where ordinary perception no longer applies. Those who guide this process, often called shamans or healers, do not act as masters of the plant, but as intermediaries, individuals who have learned to navigate the space it opens, who understand how to support those who enter it. When the vine is taken, it does not act as a gentle presence, nor does it offer comfort in the way one might expect from something associated with healing. Instead, it reveals, often with intensity, bringing forward memories, emotions, and truths that may have been hidden or avoided. The body responds, sometimes with discomfort, sometimes with release, as what has been held within begins to move. This process is not seen as harm, but as part of the healing itself, a necessary clearing, a way of bringing imbalance into awareness so that it might be addressed. The visions that arise are not random, but carry meaning, shaped by the individuals and their experience, guided by the presence of the plant. It is said that ayahuasca teaches not through words, but through direct encounter, showing what must be seen, revealing what must be understood. In this way, it is not the plant that heals, but the process it initiates, the awareness it brings, the movement it creates within the individual. The people who work with ayahuasca understand that healing is not a passive act, but an active one, requiring participation, willingness, and courage. The vine does not remove pain, but brings into it the light, where it can be transformed. It does not offer escape, but connection, a deeper relationship with the self, with the body, and with the world. In this sense, it reflects a broader understanding of the rainforest itself, where life is interconnected, where each element influences the others, and where balance is maintained through continuous interaction. The vine becomes a part of this system, a tool not for control but for alignment, for bringing the individual back into harmony with the larger whole. Over time, ayahuasca has come to be recognized beyond the communities that have long held its knowledge. Yet within those communities, it remains rooted in tradition, in respect, and in understanding. It is not taken lightly nor used without purpose, for its effects reach beyond the surface, touching the deeper layers of being. The ceremonies in which it is used are structured, guided by song, by intention, by the presence of those who have walked the path before. The experience is not isolated, but held within a framework that ensures safety, that supports the process of integration, that allows what is revealed to be understood and carried forward. Thus, the ayahuasca vine stands as more than a plant, as more than a medicine, but as a living presence within the forest, a teacher that holds the memory of the earth and the capacity to reveal it. In every vine that climbs toward the canopy, in every preparation carried out with care, and in every journey taken into the unseen, there remains the enduring presence of this spirit, the one that remembers, the one that reveals, and the one that reminds that healing is not the removal of what is difficult, but the willingness to face it, to understand it, and to move through it. In this way, the vine becomes a mirror, reflecting what is within, guiding those who approach it toward a deeper understanding of themselves and their place within the living world. Daily Thread for May 13th. The earth remembers what the body forgets. Healing grows where balance is restored. What is bitter may still bring life. Knowledge rises through relationship. The plant speaks through quiet change. Care reveals what harm conceals. What is taken must be understood. All medicine begins in the living world.